I went to the official New York, New Jersey fan hub for the World Cup 2026 and compare that to watching the game at a bar and at another semi-official fan hub at the American Dream Mall. And here's what I found. The New York, New Jersey official fan hub is at the Sports Illustrated Stadium in Harrison, New Jersey, where the New York Red Bulls play. It's super easy to get to. There's a PATH station that leaves you right at Harrison. And the PATH train, you could take it anywhere from New York City, Jersey City, Hoboken, all of those places are easily accessible to it. And it's about a 15-20 minute walk from Newark Penn Station. So there's also options for the bus and other trains from all over New Jersey or New York City. Driving is not too bad either, as the 280 highway is nearby and Route 21, but there is a mandatory $20 parking fee. There's nowhere to park other than their parking. So getting there might cost you, but the tickets to get into the stadium are completely free. And you could get up to 6 tickets per game. The location couldn't be any better. Even if you wanted to keep partying after the game, there's bars and restaurants in the area that you can go to. So now to the fun part. As soon as we got into the stadium, there were a ton of activities to do. They had many sponsors that were doing their own things for you to get free gifts. One of those I did was basically creating an AI video of yourself kicking the winning goal for your team. You chose what team you wanted to represent, and then they send you an email with the video, and here's that video. I think it's pretty hilarious. Besides that, there were food trucks that you could get food from, so there were other options besides the stadium's own food, and they had a screen showing the game outside so that you wouldn't miss anything. Honestly, outside before the matches, it was already a party, so you could feel the fun in the atmosphere to begin with. Now, as soon as we got into the stadium, you literally walk into the pitch. They turn the football field into a giant viewing area. They have floor seats, they had standing room, there was a big stage where they had DJs playing music in between games and before the games. And the seating was all first come, first serve, so you could sit wherever you wanted to. They had 4 big screens, each one facing different directions so that the game could be viewed from different areas. And we sat in the actual stadium seating because it was kind of raining that day, and that part is covered. Luckily, the rain stopped anyways and the party kept going. The first game we watched was Panama versus England, and there were actually a lot of fans from both teams. But surprisingly, there were more people there that were supporting Colombia, because that was the team that was going to play next, than Panama and England. And let me tell you, the Colombians showed up, and they showed up in force. Because once it was time for the Colombia versus Portugal game, the stadium got jam-packed. It was a sea of yellow. It was hard for people to find seats on the actual stadium seating area that we were in. And every time Colombia even got close to scoring or doing anything good, the crowd went wild. It was a very, very fun atmosphere. It literally felt like you were at the actual game, but you were at a watch party. Now, even though it was free to get into the stadium, the food and drinks, a little bit pricey. Your best bet is the food trucks, but I ended up spending $19 for 2 empanadas, which to me was crazy. But then the wildest part was I got a Stella for $17.50. That one hurt. So I ended up spending $35 for 2 beers, and all in with tips, about $60 the whole night. At halftime, the DJ came out again, and it turned into a party. Let me tell you, the Colombian fans know how to party. They were singing every song that the DJ played. He also played some songs for Portugal, some Portuguese songs. So the atmosphere was that of a giant party. Ultimately, Colombia and Portugal ended up tying at 0. And one quick tip, if you go, the bathroom lines are gonna be long if you go to the main bathroom on the first floor. So try the second floor because most people don't know about it. That area is kind of closed since the watch party's downstairs. Pretty much the only thing open there is the bathrooms. None of like the food stands or the drink stands are open during the watch parties. So overall, my score is 8.5. I deducted a point for the drinks and food being so expensive. I think $9 for an empanada is criminal, and $17.50 for a beer is outrageous. But that's stadium pricing, so I'm also not shocked. So onto the other options to watch the game. We decided to go to the American Dream Mall because they have a fan zone there, and there's also a lot of bars inside the American Dream Mall. And it's right across the street from the New York, New Jersey Stadium, MetLife Stadium. Even though the games weren't being held in the stadium that day, the place was still packed with people there to watch the games. So we went to Yard House first and had to wait about 20 minutes before we got seated. And there were quite a few people that walked in and wanted to just sit in the bar area, but the whole bar area was already packed. All the seats were already taken. So we watched a lot of people come in and go and leave immediately because there was no space in the bar area. So finally we got seated, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to go to Yard House in the American Dream Mall. You get a beautiful view of the ski slope because the American Dream Mall actually has a ski slope inside of the mall. So you get to see people going up in the cable cars to the top of the ski slope and coming down the ski slope. Actually, when we walked into Yard House, there were snowboards that people had left over by the hostess area that I'm assuming they have been snowboarding before coming in to watch the game. Now, the atmosphere was great. People were very excited to watch the US play. And so the crowd was all in on watching the USA win. So when Balogun scored the first goal at minute 45, crowd went wild. It was a lot of fun. And unfortunately, this is when we had to depart and go to the fan zone so that we could catch the rest of the game down in the fan zone and experience that. The food and drinks were reasonable. We got the cheeseburger sliders and wings and a couple of their draft beers and ended up spending $63 with tips. So about the same as the Sports Illustrated Stadium, but we got way more for our money. I'll rate the bar experience 7.5 out of 10. Even though they couldn't control that there was a wait time, it still wasn't the best to have to wait and miss kickoff. And granted, they did have TVs that you could see, but the TVs are so small. They're maybe like 50-inch TVs, if that. And so also that lowers the ranking for me. They didn't have any big projectors that you could watch the game from. It was just many TVs all throughout. So they have plenty of TVs, but they were just smaller TVs. So then we went down to the fan zone. And the cool part about this is you could actually watch the game from all 3 floors of the American Dream Mall. And all 3 floors had people sitting on them. There was barely any room to sit at or even stand. They were sitting all throughout. However, the mall closes at 9 p.m. So the AC on the 3rd floor was off. So even though you got a good seat, a good view, you had to suffer through the heat. And also there were no options for drinks and food up there. For that, you had to go down to the 1st floor, which granted, the AC was working there. And if you were smart before the game, you went to the food court, grab food from there because it's cheaper than the offerings that they have at their official fan zone. The American Dream fan zone is great for kids because there's a lot of activities for the kids to do. They actually have a small football field there that kids were kicking balls around and playing and having a good time while the adults watch the game. So it lends itself well for parents to be able to watch the game without having to pay a babysitter, and their kids could just entertain themselves. They also had live entertainment. They had DJs in between halftime. Now, mind you, we went down there as halftime was already ending, so we didn't really get to enjoy that as much, but the atmosphere was still fun. And it was a great place to watch the game. Overall, American Dream fan zone, I'll give it an 8. And the reason why it's an 8 is because you can only watch games there when there are no official games being played at the stadium, because parking is not possible. The American Dream Mall, when you go on their website, actually tell you not to come if there's a game being played, whether it is to enjoy the mall or not. During non-match days, parking is only $6, which I think is actually really good pricing for parking. You could spend all day there and it's only $6. And there's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of shops. There's a lot of activities. There's a water park in the mall. There's the ski slope, as I mentioned before. There's Nickelodeon, Adventure. There's mini golf. Anything you can think of that you could find at a mall is there. There's arcades, etc. Everything. So it's a very family-friendly environment, whereas the Sports Illustrated arena or stadium was not as family-friendly. For example, they wouldn't even let you bring in a stroller. They wouldn't let you bring in diaper bags. So which one was my favorite? Sports Illustrated Stadium wins with the highest score, but kind of depends on your needs. If you want to watch the game as a family, the American Dream Mall is going to be the better option for you. If you want to have a somewhat more chill environment where you could sit and eat, then going to a bar like Yard House is going to be the best option, and it's the cheaper option if you plan on drinking more than I did. But the atmosphere at the Sports Illustrated Stadium, the official fan hub, was unmatched. It turned me into a Colombia fan. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing more content about the New York, New Jersey area, things to do, places to see, etc. As a real estate expert in the area, I know this place like the back of my hand. So subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos coming up. Peace.